They could describe everything in
Okay,
one
so
single
good morning class. Please settle down and listen. Okay, so good morning. So for today I will be discussing functional genomics and proteomics. First is introduction to functional genomics. Functional genomics is the study of gene function and interactions. It aims to understand the dynamic aspects of gene expression and regulation, involves high throughput techniques like macroarrays and RNA sequence. So, functional genomics focuses on understanding how genes work and interact inside an organism. Instead of just knowing what genes are present, it studies what they actually do, how they are expressed, and how they affect traits or diseases. For further understanding, let's have an example. For example, scientists use RNA sequencing to see which genes are active in cancer cells compared to normal cells. This helps identify which genes might cause cancer growth. Next, key goals of functional genomics. First is to identify gene functions and biological roles. Second is understand gene regulation and expression patterns. Third one is explore genotype and phenotype relationships. And the last one is analyze interactions between genes and environmental factors. So, the main goals of this functional genomics is to identify the specific genes, understand how genes are turned on or off, find connections between genes and traits like eye color or diseases, and study how genes react to environmental changes. And the example for this is, if a plant gene is active only when there's not enough water, that genes might help the plant survive drought and could be used to make crops more resistant to dry climates. Next is the techniques in functional genomics. So there are 5 techniques. First is we have the DNA macroarrays. So second is RNA sequencing. Third is gene knockout and knockdown experiments. Fourth one is CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing, and the last one is bioinformatics. So what is DNA macroarrays? So DNA macroarrays is used to study thousands of genes at once and see which are active in certain conditions. Example is comparing gene activity in healthy versus sick tissue. And the next technique is the RNA sequencing. It reads all RNA in a cell to understand which genes are expressed. Example, used in COVID-19 research to track viral gene activity. And the third technique is the gene knockdown. The description of this is disables a gene to see what happens when it's missing. Example is, if removing a gene causes a mouse to lose fur, that gene likely controls in her growth. And the fourth one is the CRISPR-Cas9, a precise tool to edit genes or correct mutations. Example, used to fix defective genes that cause genetic diseases. And the last technique is the bioinformatic analysis. It uses computer programs to analyze large sets of genetic data. Example is identifying genetic patterns related to diabetes. Now let's proceed to proteomics. So proteomics is the large-scale study of proteins, their structures, function, and interactions. Complements genomics by focusing on the functional products of genes, help in understand how proteins contribute to cellular processes. So basically, proteomics is the study of proteins, several amino acids that create proteins. Since proteins do most of the works in cell, studying them help us understand how the body functions at a deeper level. So example is in medicine, proteomics helps find biomarkers, proteins that signal diseases like cancer or heart problems. Now, let's proceed to the techniques in proteomics. Kindly please read, Miss Jonalyn. The different techniques in
Mass spectrometry, protein microarrays, two-dimensional jet electrophoresis, X-ray, crystallography, NMR spectroscopy.
and the last one is
Bioinformatics tool for protein analysis.
okay. So what is mass spectrometry? So mass spectrometry identifies proteins and measures their amount. Example, used to detect proteins linked to Alzheimer's disease. Second technique is we have the two-dimensional gel electrophoresis. It separates proteins by size and charge. Example, useful for comparing protein profiles between healthy and infected cells. And the third one is the protein macroarrays. It studies thousands of proteins at once to see interactions. Example is finding which protein bind to antibodies in blood samples. And the fourth one is the X-ray crystallography, NMR. It shows the 3D shapes of proteins. Example, used to design drugs that fit perfectly into protein structure. And the last technique is the bioinformatics tools for protein analysis. So what is this? It analyzes protein data for structure, function, and interaction. So example of this is predicting how a protein mutation might cause a diseases. Now, let's proceed to the application of functional genomics and proteomics. First is the drug discovery and development. Kindly please read Ms. Galutan, the rest applications.
Disease diagnosis and personalized medicine, biomarker identification, agricultural and environmental biotechnology.
Very good. So in medicine, finding disease-causing genes and proteins, drug discovery, developing new treatments, agriculture, creating better crops, environmental science, studying pollution effects on organisms. Example of this is scientists use genomics and proteomics to create rice varieties that can survive floods or droughts. Next is the challenges and future directions. Kindly read Miss Nobel.
Challenges and future directions. Data complexity and integration across omics technologies. Need for advanced computational tools. Ethical considerations in genomic research. Future systems, biology, and multi-omics integration for deeper insights.
Thank you. So, there's still difficulty in managing huge amounts of data and combining results from different omics fields. Ethical concerns also arise about using genetic information. Example, future research is heading towards systems biology, which connects all omics data, genomics, proteomics, metabolomics to see a complete picture of how life works. So in conclusion, functional genomics and proteomics provide complementary insights into the roles of genes and proteins. Together, they help us decode biological complexity, paving the way for innovations in medicine, agriculture, and biotechnology. That's all. Thank you.